Good morning, happy Monday. I'm just doing a sneaky video in between before I go to my knit club at the library because I've had woolly goodies in the post. Don't tell. I managed to get them in from the postman before they actually saw him, I think. Although Rosie kind of, excuse me, kind of gave the game away by barking, but then Trixie dashed stuff out and we had to get her back in. Oh, she's getting a little demon. Anyway, by the by, for those of you who saw my video on the sea and said it was refreshing and bracing, it wasn't. It was cold and it was blowing. And my little ears do not like wind. They have to be covered up with a hat and a hood and still no news about the scooter yet. Praying and hoping that it arrives this week. Anyway, on I go because I've got quite a little bit to show you. First of all, I don't know whether I mentioned this before. A friend of mine gave me this book. It's called A Stash of One's Own by Clara Parks. It's all from people, you know, like Susan Anderson, Franklin Habit, who else is there? Meg Swanson, Stephanie Pearl McPhee, people like that, all explaining what the stash means to them and why they have it. And they were doing that, you know, that sort of thing about Marie Kondo, you know, if it doesn't feel right, you have to get rid of it. Well, I'm sorry, but every time I feel my stash, it does feel right, so I am not getting rid of it. Although I got rid of quite a lot of it. But I seem to be rapidly replacing it, but with different types of yarn, which is what I'm going to get around to right now. Rosie has just discovered one of them and it almost finished up in the garden, but he did get rescued. Anyway, the first thing I've got has got nothing to do with yarn. It's another skirt. Sadly, it's very much like my other skirt. I did want one that was a completely different colour, but when you order off Moonbeams and Mayhem, they choose the colour for you. So it's very, very much like the other one I have. I know it looks small, but it's very elasticated and it does actually fit me. I wore this with an underslip on the scooter, and well, the other one, I mean, not this one. I have to say I'm a heck of a lot warmer wearing a skirt than I am wearing trousers, yeah? So, even though I was like, what's she called now? Oh, I can't ever remember her name. Anyway, Kate. She was, I think she's a Princess of Wales now, isn't she? They were pulling her up because they said she had a fashion faux pas because she was wearing tights underneath her trousers. And I'm like, I don't blame you, it's been very chilly. They were probably thermal tights because the poor lass, she's got no body fat, has she, let's face it. And she was out in the cold, so it's not a fashion faux pas in my opinion, Kate. You're just keeping warm, yeah. Anyway, on with what I have got to show you. I finally finished this one. Do you know, I've had lots of cakes off this lady, rainbow loops on eBay, and they've all been fabulous. This one, however, although which she's got no control because she doesn't make them, was very splitty. And I had to keep going back and, you know, taking it back because there'd been a split stitch. Anyway, it's finally finished now. It's 50% cotton, and these are the colours of it. Very autumnal. It reminds me of falling leaves and all the colours that you would get on a tree. Yeah. All of these are for sale. We are still working on the web page. It's like stop me and buy one. If you think that you like them, please ask me and I will tell you. I don't want to say the price on here because it may change, you know, as wool goes up and things, and people view my videos like 3 or 4 years along the line, and then they ask me, what was that, have you still got it, how much is it? And of course by that time, 3 or 4 years down the line, it's either long gone or the pattern has gone out of my memory. For those of you who are going to ask what I am wearing, it's from the Doris Chan book. The wool I cannot remember, or the yarn I can't remember, but it's from the Doris Chan book. Everyday Crochet, I think, yeah. Anyway, this colour arrived today. It's on the fluffy side, you know. like the other one I started. I think that colour is gorgeous. Yeah, isn't that gorgeous? Look at that, that's just me colours, that. That probably won't end up as a shawl. That will probably end up as one of those campfire cardigans or something for moi. Similarly, this one, I got more of this one. I like it so much, I'm making a shawl with it, but I like it so much that I think this is definitely going to be a campfire cardigan for moi. You know, definitely. So I'll put that on one side. Oh, excuse me, I've still got this blinking cough. It has not been helped, you know, by getting wet through and getting blown on and everything, yeah. Now this one I ordered, well I didn't order it for me, I ordered it because it came in conjunction with two of that purple and green. It was a set of 4. And I knew that I would never use this one, but my friend Sarah will. So this one's for you, Sarah. It's very, very dark. It's got a delicate sort of bluey grey in the centre, fading out to another grey. There's actually 3 shades there, but you can't, no, 4 shades. There's that one, and then the end one. The end one is black, I think, yeah. So I know that she'll probably make something for herself with that, because she is, I won't say she's a goth, but she does like her dark colours, yeah. So that's a Sarah one. This next one I'm going to blame on Leslie. Not quite enough yarn, or not quite enough, or she finishes it off with not quite enough week, not quite enough date, but it's from Floof yarns, F-L-O-O-F. And she showed this on her one of her podcasts, whatever she calls them, and I just, as you know, I went to Yarndale and I didn't buy myself the promised 1 skein of yarn. That's what I budgeted for, that's what I was going to buy. Came back with 2 books that I'll probably never use, you know, the ones for the blanket, the Janie Crow. They'll probably finish up in somebody's Christmas stocking, because I cannot see me ever using them, but never mind, I just fancied them at the time. Anyway, I did not buy the 1 skein of yarn. So when I saw this on Leslie's podcast, I had to have it. She said it was like autumnal Halloween colours. I just like all the colours that's in it. It's got the purples, the pinks, the oranges, and the bright green. It's merino nylon 80-20, so it's 80 merino and 20 nylon, 100 grams, 365 metres, and it's called Haunted House. So I bought mine off Etsy. At the time I bought it, there was still some left if you're interested. I think it was round about £18 plus postage, if I remember rightly. It's not a cheap one, well, in my opinion. For those of you who pay a lot for your yarn, you probably think that's quite reasonable, but to me that's quite expensive. But I do like that. And then last but not least, I got a lovely surprise through the post from a friend of mine called Sharon. And she sent me necklaces. Now they're all tangled up, but I'll show you them as best as I can before I put them away. This one is, oh, I don't know if you can see it or not, pink with a tassel. Oh, it keeps twisting, but there's lovely shades of pink, pale pink. I'll put that there to show you. I told you I've shown it to you. This one is my colour, purples, and it's got a little glittery heart. Yeah, purples. I'm trying to save the one I like the best for the last. Not that I don't like the others, but the one I like the best, I'm saving it for last. Oh, goodness me. I put them all on the table and they're all tangled. This one is like a shocking pink colour with grey and white You know I like my chunky necklaces. I'm not a girl for gold and silver and all the precious jewels. That is not me at all. I just prefer something big and chunky. A bit like me really, big and chunky. This one's very similar, but it's black, white and sort of a shade of grey. And what else have we got now? Oh, I showed this on Saturday Live and there was a lady there fell in love with it because she likes green. It's quite a pretty little one. We're getting on to next but last. This one's a long one. It's got all different shades in this one. That one reminds me of, you know, licorice all sorts, whatever, the one with the ring in the middle. All kinds of shades on that one, including my favourite lilac. But my favourite one, you'll know why when you see it, is this one. It's got purples. I know they look blue on camera, but it's actually a deep purple and green. It reminds me very much of like olives and grapes or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I love that one. I could have put it on today, I suppose, but I've got this one instead. Yeah. I think that's all I've got to tell you. I'm still working on that. The shawl in that colour. I don't know quite how I'm going to go on with it at the library because it's one of those, every row is different and you've got to concentrate. So I may actually take some wool and make headbands. I did buy 2 lovely headband patterns, but the wool that I bought, that I showed you, the fleck wool and that, is too thick. It's just not doing the pattern stitch, you know, because you've got to go over and through and over and through, like a bobbly kind of effect. So I have been looking on YouTube to find some different ones, which I'll probably, you know, go into there. I think that's really all I've got to tell you mostly. The family were away at the weekend, they're now back. Apparently Rosie's sulking because she didn't want to come back. They went up to Scotland and the people that they visited have a lot of garden that's like a woodland and stuff, and they have a little doggy called Gypsy. So Rosie was tearing round with this little dog all round the woodland and everywhere, and she didn't want to come home. She wouldn't get in the car, she didn't want to come home, and now she's sulking. So, you know, we almost came home without a dog because she just wouldn't come with us. Well, not me, she wouldn't come with them, yeah. It's a beautiful day today. I don't know if it's cold or not, I've not been outside. I will find that out very, very shortly. Because as I said, I'm going to the library today to meet up with one of my knit clubs. I don't mind the library because it's lovely and warm in there. I'm getting to be such a cold person. My mother would say I was nesh. Nesh is a sort of a Lancashire word that means you're sort of a bit wimpy, that you're feeling the cold. If I'd say, oh, it's cold, Mum, she'd say, oh, no, it's a nesh. So that's another word for you that you may not have never heard before. Don't be so nesh, don't be so marred. Marred means like you're being soft. Whether it's something to do with like lard, I don't know, but you have to stop being marred. Yeah, so that's a bit of my mummism coming out, yeah. Oh, well, I lost 2 cousins this last couple of weeks. They were in their late 80s and one was 90. But it's getting a bit sort of, ooh, my generation is now passing away. It was like my mum's generation was all going and we expected that, didn't we, because they were all older. But now you're like, oops, you know, my generation's now. I mean, I was talking with my cousin, we were discussing family matters, etc. And he's 88 and you're thinking, oh my goodness me. You know, to me, he's still like the same young man that used to have a sports car. And when I was 7, he used to take me out in this MG sports car, which I thought was the bee's knees, you know, because we didn't have a car. And, You know, when you've got, it's very low, an MG sports car, very low down. So when you're a kiddie, and we lived in Wales in the middle of the countryside at the time, and the hedgerows were whizzing by so fast. I felt like I was doing 100 miles an hour. We were probably exceeding the speed limit because he was a bit of a speed demon, you know. But hey ho. But it was like a shock when he said he was 88, and I'm like, oh my goodness me. Time is ticking on, you know. I mean, some days I feel in my head, not in my body. Some days I feel in my head like I'm in my 40s, you know. And other days I feel like I'm 90, you know. Excuse the eye running. I still haven't seen the eye hospital yet about what's going on with my eyes. 31st of October I've got to go for that. They don't rush. Here in the UK, you know, you wait for an appointment for 2-3 months. If you're lucky, you could wait even longer, you know. There's none of this, oh, there's something wrong with your eyes, we're going to see you tomorrow. There's none of that in the UK. You have to be very patient. I think that's why we're good in queues, you know. We stand patiently in a queue where other countries like just surge forward, every man for himself, you know. But we're after you. We're very polite, you know. Well, most of us. Except the younger generation, and I don't know who brought them up. But, I mean, some of them are fantastic. I'm not calling them all. But some of them, oh my goodness me. I think manners was left off the curriculum, you know. But I hope they mature. I'm sure we were never like that. I'm positive we were never like that. My mother wouldn't have stood for it for a giggle. You know, if I'd have answered my mother back like some of them answer their parents back, I'd have got a swift pulling up sharp, you know. It might not have been a swift backhander, but it would definitely have been very strong words that left you in no doubt whatsoever that she wouldn't stand for that kind of behaviour. Yeah, I wouldn't have dared anyway. I would like to think that I had a lot of respect for my parents and my elders, yeah. I would like to think that it's the way I was brought up, and I like to think I brought my son up the same way. I know when he might have been a bit of a tear away with his friends, but I used to love it when friends of my generation or older would say, do you know your boy is so polite? You know, he's such a credit to you. And I used to think, yes, he might be a little so-and-so in the house, but he has manners outside, and that's what counts, you know. And he's still like me, you know, he makes friends and talks the hind leg off a donkey somewhere along the line. He's always talking to somebody. He knows more of the neighbours than I do. Although I did stop to talk to a lady the other day who had a little elderly Pekingese in a little pram thing, yeah. And it turns out she, another one that comes from Oldham, yeah. I can't get away from Oldham, can I? I might have moved away when I got married from Oldham, but you can't take it out of the girl, can you? You know, you're still, you know, well, it wasn't actually Oldham I was born in. It was a county of Oldham. It was actually Royton, which is a tiny, well, it was a tiny little place. Of course, now it's expanded and it's now merged in with Oldham anyway. But it wasn't quite a Miss Marple village, but it was one of those that everybody knew everybody and everybody had the nose in everything, you know, you knew what was going on. You know, if you did something wrong, it was all around the village and got back to your mother before you got home, you know. Another reason why I was always a good girl, because you knew that it would get home before you got home, no matter how fast you ran, yeah. And if you dared to say to your mum, Mrs. So-and-so's told me off, all I would get was, well, you must have deserved it, you know. None of this, like today, oh, I'm going to tell Mrs. So-and-so she's not to talk to my child like that. No. In my generation, it was, well, you must have deserved it. You must have said something, you must have done something. And no matter how much you said, but I didn't, Mum, I didn't, you'd still never get believed. No. It was the generational thing. I used to feel very aggrieved when I was younger that I was never believed. You know, if I was the innocent party, if I was just stood there and somebody else was doing it, And you'd sort of back away thinking, oh gosh, they're doing something they shouldn't. So you'd sort of slowly back away and think, I'm not being part of this. Oh, you got lumped in. You know, somebody would tell your mother you were part of a gang or you were part of a group that was doing this mischief. It wouldn't be anything bad. It would be something like pushing the swings too fast or something and nothing, you know. But anyway, I'm going to upload this video. I'm glad I had something to show you today. I hope you like seeing all my wares, and don't tell those upstairs that I've been buying again. I'm still waiting to hear about the scooter. They said 2 to 3 weeks, so I'm hoping that this is week 3 and I might hear something. But he did say he would ring me on a Wednesday, so it's only Monday today. Wednesday's another day when my logs that I've ordered for the log burner are coming. Hopefully a big pile of logs. I keep bringing home little tiddly bags from B&M Bargains, you know, and they last me about 2 days. So I battle home with a bag, you know, on my scooter, but they're just not. And they're very lightweight. They burn through in a matter of minutes, really. So we've ordered some hardwood. So we'll see what arrives. It's the first time we've ordered off this guy. So it's costing me enough, so I hope they're lasting me a while. But you have to do anything rather than put the central heating on. You know, you're just afraid of it running away with your money. Yeah, I should get my winter fuel bonus in November. So that'll come in handy to pay for one of the bills anyway. Right, that is enough of me waffling on. I'm sure you're sick of the sight of me this last week. I didn't do Vlogtober, but I might as well have done, because I've been on nearly every day since then. But I don't like to tie myself down to having to do something every single day, because it doesn't work that way with me. I either get up in the morning and think, I've got something to show. I've got something to show you. Or I get up in the morning and think, well, I've got nothing to talk about today. So, end of story, really. So I'm glad you enjoyed the waves anyway. I didn't. It nearly wet me through. If I'd have stayed there another couple of minutes longer, the wave would have come straight over the top and got me. It's bracing. I do like to be beside the seaside, but not in the winter. Bring on my new scooter. Bring on my weatherproofing. My Surrey with the fringe on top. Bring it. You're lucky I don't sing the Muppets, actually. The choir that I belong to, choir, in inverted commas. We've been singing the Muppet song. You know, everything is great, everything is grand. I've got the whole wide world in the palm of my hand. And it's like in my head. And I find myself driving down the seafront singing the Muppets, you know. I don't know what anybody thinks that goes past me. But it's a change from what I usually sing. I usually sing reggae or something on the way down. Yeah, I mean, the other day I was singing Baby I Love Your Waves, you know. I didn't really. It was cold and it was wet. Anyway, as I said before, I'm definitely going because I need to go to the library to do my crochet on the shawl with the many, many rows that I don't know where I'm up to. But I'm sure I'll try and find out. I'll see you all very soon. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.